Hi, everyone. This is Rico Figliolini, host of Pickleball Grit, a brand new podcast that we've been doing. This is the second. We have a great guest today. Hey, Dan, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rico, thank you for having me. Pleasure being here.
Sure. So before we get into this, I just want to let everyone know that Atlanta Pickleball Magazine is the product that we produce as well here in the metro area, and it's launching this summer with a print edition as well as an online and social media. Dan Lawson is local to Georgia. He's one of several partners in Good Get Apparel, and I appreciate Dan Lawson for being here with us. They have a great young company that they just recently started in July. So we're going to be talking about that, what it means to have good apparel in this sport, and the fastest growing sport in the United States, fastest growing in the last 3 years, in fact. So there are a lot of companies out there and a lot of companies doing not the right products maybe out there, but Dan's going to tell us a bit more about his product, but we're going to let him introduce himself first. Dan, so give us a little info about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again, Rico, for having me on the show.
Sure.
Really glad to be here. So my background is actually in math and computer science. So I don't have an apparel background, which may seem a little interesting, but spent a lot of my career in the creative space. So
Yeah.
the whole way this came about, this brand came about, is I was playing a lot of pickleball during the COVID shutdown. I was playing
Sure.
golf, had one of my buddies who said, "Hey, you tried pickleball ever?"
Hmm.
I said, "Nope, but I've seen it growing." So decided to dive in. Played my first night, played about 3 hours that night, and I fell in love. So that was probably summer 21. So near the end of the shutdown, the lockdown there with COVID. Spent a
Okay.
lot of time playing, and then what I was really looking for was just something to express, kind of like I was always into clothes, and I couldn't find anything that was really, kind of fit my need for what I was looking for in the pickleball apparel space. There was, you had your big box store clothes that would take their tennis stuff and put it under pickleball heading, but there wasn't really anything that spoke to me in that arena. So it kind of grew that from into that idea.
So playing pickleball for a while, and you're right. I mean, so many things have changed since COVID, right? And during COVID,
Mhm.
it's almost like it's almost like I don't want to say it this way, but it's almost like before Christ and after Christ. So you got the before pickleball, after pickleball in a way, right? Um, doing that, coming and looking at apparel that's out there, and companies, huge companies, Under Armour, Nike, a bunch of companies out there that do a lot of tennis stuff. And then all of a sudden you're finding that brand being sold as pickleball brand. But at the beginning, certainly wasn't being made for the court. It wasn't being made for the sport specifically, right? You came along, you decided that, that doesn't make sense. So all your apparel, all your performance apparel, your gear and such, are all original. You all have designed the apparel for both women and men, shirts and shorts, if you will.
Yeah,
Um,
that's correct. Yeah, so the idea was to create something that was specific to the pickleball community. Something that you know fit a pickleball into the pocket. So things that are just like
yeah,
minor tweaks
right.
to, like, you get a tennis balls squishier and smaller, right? So I can
Hmm.
I can fit that into a pocket. So it just taking small design details like that just um, make it for pickleball players. It's small stuff, but I think it goes a long way. Designing the hems in the compression shorts to not ride up. You're lunging a lot. There's a lot of lateral movement, a lot of side to side. So taking
Right.
considerations and things like that, and it's kind of the approach that we took.
The small things are really important. I know you said the small adjustments, but like anyone knows, um, depending on the industry you're in, small things can be a big matter.
Mhm.
So, and I get it because I play a lot of tennis. I play Alta, not a great level, but play enough of that. that I know putting tennis balls in your pocket, and the women that I play with and mixed, you know, it's not easy just to carry the ball sometimes like that.
Hmm.
Um, and you're right, it's a different court system. I mean, you're looking at, as most people know, four courts on a tennis court. I mean, it's a small court, and the amount of movement that you have, the type of movement you have is different. So I can appreciate wanting to create apparel for that. You also do dry wick, is it called? Um, Dry wick apparel to in the sports, right? I
Yeah.
think.
So our tops. So I'm wearing one right now, but it's a performance top, right? It's designed to keep you cool, to keep the moisture off of you. I mean, playing in Georgia, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's humid here. So once you step
Yes.
outside, you're going to be sweating. So any way we can accommodate, a couple hours of play where it feels a little bit breezier, maybe,
Yeah. Yeah.
is the approach that we're taking. So our performance tops we came out with that moisture wicking fabric. Again, working with the fabric mills just to make sure that from
Hmm.
like we didn't want something that was like uncomfortable to wear, right? That still
Hmm.
did the job of moisture wicking. We wanted it to be something that you actually enjoyed putting on, looking forward to wearing. So
Now, I've seen the website. Anyone that has seen the website and some of the clothing and stuff, especially what you're wearing, also. How do you go about picking out the colors, the cuts and stuff? Do you experiment a little bit? Do you go back and say, it's not what I thought this was. Maybe it needs to be different. How do you do that? I mean, what's the
yeah,
process?
it's a great question. The process, it's been a learning process, right? This is my first tangible product that I've ever created as
Yeah.
in business. A lot of my
Hmm.
past experience has been creating digital products. So that's been very hands-on. We started the concept of Good Get in February 22. We didn't launch
Hmm.
until July of 23, and that was
Right.
because it was about almost a year and a half of prototyping. We found a manufacturer that we liked that made quality stuff,
Mm.
but we had to go through about 4 iterations with each of our items, mostly our men's
Wow.
short, before we got the fit to where we liked it. The
Mm.
shirt didn't actually launch till a couple months ago because even when we were ready to launch, we couldn't get the right fit and feel to what we were trying to create. So it's prototyping, it's touching,
Yeah.
I'm not a seamstress, I don't sew, so I don't know those different terms. So I'm working with the manufacturers and really trying to figure out
Yeah. Yeah.
how to get that exactly how we want it to be.
Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting industry by itself. My wife's family is from the apparel side,
Okay.
and a long time ago, seamstresses and stuff like that. I ended up sketching her um, uh, engagement dress, and they ended up doing
Cool.
the patterns and stuff. It's very involved. And today, of course, you're using digital and CAD and stuff like that. It's digital drawing, so it's a little different to get to where you're going. But you're right. I mean, until you actually put this stuff on, you don't know how that feels.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that once I buy, let's say, one of your apparels, one of your shirts, I'll know how it feels, so I could go online comfortably now and say, okay, I want that, because I know, what sizes I need and stuff.
And
It's
that's
a,
been Oh, I'm sorry, go
uh,
ahead.
I was going to say it's a process. So,
Yeah, and I was just asking. That's been one of the challenges as a new apparel brand, right? I mean, is people don't know what it feels like, how it fits. You can go to Nike and you pretty much know what to expect when you order something off Nike
hmm.
or Under Armour or whatever. It's something that you've been used to ordering. So
Right.
getting people to understand that we're making quality stuff, premium gear that's not at a it's not at a Lululemon price tag, which is
God knows. Yeah.
to be $120 leggings. We're not close to that. So, but we're still making high quality stuff
Yeah.
that I feel like is you do have to touch it and feel it, and that's been some of the challenges. And the way we get around that is going to events. Right, when we go to
Mm.
events, allows people to actually hold the merchandise. We have fitting room; they can try it on right
Oh,
there at the
okay.
events. We bring a little portable fitting room, so
Do you
that's been
really?
really
Okay.
helpful. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of nice.
Cool. And I know you're going to be here in Atlanta soon. When we're taping this, this is actually before one of the big tournaments being held at Lifetime. PPA Tour, Carvana sponsored. Um, So yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I've spoken to quite a few, probably half a dozen to a dozen apparel companies, and the biggest thing is doing the dog and pony show, if you will, what we used to call it in stocks, going out, showing the apparel, making people touch and feel it, try it on, and I'm sure that's, how do you feel with the satisfaction when someone comes out of the changing room and they're like, this feels really good. How does
It's
that
really cool.
feel?
I think the biggest thing that I love is when someone who tries on our stuff, they
Mhm.
come out and they buy one of every color. Like I'm like
Oh
you are.
wow.
That to me is the biggest testament, right? So they or the person who's online who hasn't actually ever seen us in person,
Mhm.
but took a chance and ordered something, and then
Oh, wow. Okay.
next week they order two more pairs of shorts, right? So that to
Right.
me is it like I'm like we're actually making something that people enjoy and like, and that's really cool.
Yeah. I think when you have a good brand look and brand feel, and it's something like you said. I mean, you have to wear it. It's not like a pen or something other. Tactile is one thing, but wearing it on your skin is something wholly different. And how it feels after playing an hour of pickleball,
Yeah.
how that still feels on you, versus weighing down on you maybe, or being light on you, also makes a difference. Is there any feedback that you've gotten that sort of surprised or has inspired you that you've heard, or how do you take those feedbacks? Anything good there?
Yeah. So this is also something that's kind of new for me, right? It's like clothing. Everybody has very particular styles and very particular ways they like their clothes to fit. Um,
Mm,
we basically, I when I first took the approach, I was like, I want to make sure everybody loves everything. That's a very challenging approach to take, and it's
mm,
impossible, quite frankly. So we have slightly shifted that to we want to have something for everyone.
mm,
So whether it's like we have our men's shorts with compression, we have men's shorts without compression. Men don't always want
mm.
to wear the compression shorts underneath. That's fine. We have the same with our women's shorts and our women's skirts. So we have different lengths. So really trying to find that style, that fit, that people will like. Even when it comes down to our women's shorts, some ladies are like, well,
Mhm.
they're a little short. They'll actually wear our men's shorts, and I'm like,
Oh,
perfect. I mean,
okay.
it works out well. If you're comfortable playing in them, that's the ultimate response that we can get. So
Right, for sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, in some cases, it doesn't matter whether it's women or
mhm.
men, apparel to some degree. Um, when you're going to a place, you know, the logistics of bringing the clothing with you, because you're going to bring a certain amount, right? You want to be able to sell at the location, but you're probably taking orders too, I bet, at those
Yeah.
locations, huh?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of what we do is regional, so it's easy. I mean, the farthest we've traveled, we're based out of Augusta, Georgia. So
Hmm.
we've traveled over to Hilton Head for an event, but it's mostly mostly regional in this area. So
Right.
we try to bring based on our previous, like especially our local events, we can see what we're selling size wise. So we try to bring it's a little bit of a bell curve, right? You've got your smalls to your XLs or your two
Right.
XLs. Um, your small, your mediums, your largest sell the most. So try to pack more of those, but really try to
Right.
keep it pretty minimal that we can keep, throw it into a van. We try
Hmm.
to have two people at an event, and that seems to go well. But we also we do take orders. There's some items, we just sell out of quickly. And
Yeah.
so everything is inventoried here out of Augusta. So we can get it out the door within 48 hours if we get a take orders as well.
Cool. So you're going to events, you're staging your products there, you're selling off your website. What other areas I mean, there's some people that use Amazon, some people use other partnerships. Are there other ways of buying the product?
Yeah, so direct to consumer through our website is our number one avenue right now. Events is our second option when we do pop up shops at different events. We are
Hmm.
starting to expand into with our retail strategy. we do have our product in a couple of retail stores here locally.
Okay.
We have started to bring on some sales reps to start to grow that retail footprint. So, namely, right now in the Panhandle, Florida area, obviously a huge pickleball state.
Oh yeah. By far.
Yeah, and then also we have up in New England, Massachusetts area doing some sales rep, and a lot of those sales reps are actually selling into pro shops, so golf and tennis pro shops.
Okay.
So as that grows, then we'll update our website with where you can get our stuff online. But right now we are. I mean, and this is a pretty cool fact for us is we're right now in 48 states. So we have sold into 48 states. For some reason, the Dakotas, I don't know, North and South Dakota, if you got anybody that plays pickleball up there, would love to get some gear in their hands. But we just recently started shipping internationally too. So
did you? Okay. I was going to say I'm surprised Wyoming has pickleball, but every state of the union I'm sure has.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, was it Axios? I think it was Axios that put out a survey at the end of last year or something about pickleball cities and the order of intensity or something. And I think Atlanta was like number 77 on the list as far as pickleball courts, I think, dedicated courts. So that's how they gauge the passion for it. Now that's totally shifting and changing, right? So there's Kingdom, there's Dill Thinkers. There's a bunch of franchise companies looking to open up 12, 15 court facilities all over the metro area, just the metro area. Yeah. I mean, there's one we interviewed in our first episode, a franchise developer, and they're looking to open 30 in the metro area. And the metro area is like 20 counties, right? 23, but still, I mean, that's a lot of franchise, and they're not the only ones. And so there's a lot of, and they're not doing pro shops in theirs or I think it's just facility.
Okay.
They're not doing food rather. They are doing pro shops in some of them. So a lot more market space.
And those are great arenas for us. So we have a local one opening up an indoor facility that's moving into an old grocery store. It's called Dinked, and they're doing like a premium like food and beverage. They'll have like black light, nighttime pickleball. They're doing pro shop as well. So going to be working with them to get our stuff in there. But I think there's a lot of potential in those type of facilities. Even in Macon, they just opened up the Rhythm and Rally indoor facility in the mall there, which is a massive 32 court facility. They have a pro shop there. So.
Yeah, and I think they're claiming they are and I have no way to fact check it, but they're the largest indoor pickleball facility in the world.
Yeah, world's largest. Yep, that's what they claim.
World's largest, right? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're accurate.
Yeah, I mean most of we've done some surveys around the area just to see what's out there, because slowly more dedicated pickleball places are coming in versus tennis places that are lining the pickleball courts. So you have actually county parks are beginning to add dedicated courts. You have Social and Pickle opened in Sewanee. I think they just got approval to open a facility in Alpharetta now. So there's a lot of growth in that area. So how do you then keep we talked about sizing and fabrics and the type of work but you have young and old, right? This used to be an old game, if you will, an old game. But there's a lot of the fastest growing demographic are younger people for a lot of good reasons, right? It's a short game. You can literally, your friends could be eating right next to you while you're playing pickleball. So it's a very social thing, right? They could be calling from the sideline that you're playing crap, get better. They could be doing stuff like that. But how do you deal? Does it matter to you, age, demographic that way when you come up with clothing design and stuff?
Again, it's a great question. And it's something we've really kind of learned and had to embrace, like the approach there. So, one thing we did we did some focus groups as we're creating our product line. So
Cool.
like we did our skirt, like our ladies skirt. My daughter is 18. She plays tennis. She helped me a lot with that. And I've transitioned her over to join me in pickleball events as well. But so she's helped giving me insight, but she's coming from like a 18-year-old's perspective, right? So
Sure.
loves the skirt that we created. And then I work with our focus group, and they're like, the skirt's great, but it's a little short for us, right? And this, like that age demographics between like 35 and 55.
Right.
And so it really just depends. Like, so what we did was we created just two varieties of the skirt, one that had a longer length, one that was a shorter length. So trying to keep that in mind, keep those demographics in mind. And again, it wasn't necessarily an age thing. It was more just like how tall or how short the person was or how comfortable they were playing in it. So it seems what we've created, especially from a brand standpoint, it does appeal across, across the age ranges. As you said, the age range, I mean, I guess the average age is down to like mid 30s now from last I checked.
Yes, it's about 34, I think, right now, the median age.
Yeah. So what we've created really, it feels like it appeals across the board for the most part.
Cool. When you started this, Adam, obviously hits and misses, mistakes, growth, and stuff like that. If someone was going to come into this industry, what advice would you share with them on something like this?
Yeah, I think the details matter, especially when you're working, with a manufacturer, and you're working directly with them. The details matter. I think one of our first batch of shorts, the drawstring was just like, I'm looking at it, the drawstring looks great. We have our good get script written across it. We get the first batch, and the drawstring is too short. It's not functional, right? Like, so but it was one of those things, like you don't notice it in the pictures. You don't notice it until you actually get your hands on it and you try it on. So I think when it comes down to really just like understanding what the small details are that makes your brand, right? Because for us, it's not just a pair of shorts. It's all the levels of details that come along with it. So paying attention to those is probably the biggest thing.
All right, cool. And I can appreciate the drawstrings. It's not like you had comparisons to do either. So for that type of apparel, because you could lose those drawstrings and that'll be it. Go right in the hole and they're gone. Any other feedback or any new apparel idea innovations that you all are working on, or product or gear?
Yeah. So I think we're trying to do a release every 6 months of new product lines. So we've got new designs coming out, so new colors for our performance shirts and things of that nature. But we do have a new skirt that's coming out. Our current skirt's like a little more flowy. So this one, the next one coming out, is a flat front, right? So again, just trying to have something for everyone, because the appealing to across the board is challenging. So always concepting. We get a lot of feedback, a lot of, hey, have you thought about making this? Hey, have you thought about making this? Which is great. I love to hear that. I want to know what people want to wear, right? Because if I've got consumers saying, hey, make me a tank top that is like this, then by all means, I want to figure out how to make a tank top that people are going to enjoy and wear. So always innovating.
And when you're doing that, do you, color is a big thing, right? Pantone releases the trend color or the color of the year, for example. When you do those, when you're moving towards every 6 months releasing new product, do you stay with the colors? Do you add one or two colors in that's different to see how they perform?
Yeah, and colors are like you said, Pantone has their color trends every year. So trying to stay on trend can be challenging, and creating product that we can get out the door quickly in a timely fashion is important. Like our initial lineup of clothing is blues and blacks and grays, because that's the majority of it. We wanted to create something that everybody could kind of enjoy. And then we've expanded into other colors like we'll have a pink shirt coming out. We'll have a mint green skirt coming out. We just released our white and red skirts. So
Okay.
it kind of goes back to that focus group. Like we can get a general sample of what people would like or what people want from a color standpoint,
Hmm.
and then go from there using Pantone trends, using apparel trends as well.
Right. Right. And it's amazing. I forget where I read this, but it was like the TikTok syndrome, where there are ambassadors out there and influencers will say, "We love this particular piece of apparel or this gear,"
Uh-huh.
and all of a sudden it blows up because they're big, influencer. There may be a few more that climb on there, and then it sort of dribbles out after a few months. So it's
Mhm.
like you get these retailers trying to meet these trends, or meet the demand once their stuff gets picked up. Have you seen? I mean, have you all tried getting? How else do you market on digital? Do you
Yeah,
get
so
into that?
ambassadors is a great opportunity that we have. So we have an ambassador program where
Okay.
people will get their own discount code that they can use.
Hmm.
They will be able to use that to to give out to their friends, and they also receive a little bit of a commission for any sales that they
Okay.
do that way. So that avenue's been good. We our most I guess influential people have been our pickleball coaches, actually. So
Ah.
those who are
Okay.
kind of in the industry and they're seeing people on a clinic basis or on private lessons, and they're
Sure.
wearing our gear and they're saying, like, obviously if they're wearing it to play and to teach in for 8 hours a day, it should hold up. So that's been a great marketing avenue for us.
Excellent.
I mean, I think other options is just our standing. I mean, like your social media ads, obviously, is another area where we
Sure.
where we tap into. But really, ambassadors and events have been probably the two biggest areas of growth for us.
Cool. Have you guys been sponsors of anything, or of events, or co-sponsors of events? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
so
maybe local.
yeah, definitely local. We try to sponsor every local event we can. We've got a good group of folks here. They do a food truck Friday every once a month during
Okay.
the nicer months. So we try
Yeah.
to sponsor that, at least one time each year, which is
Cool.
great. And that's just like a big party. It's they get food trucks out there. It's
Cool.
kids running around. You got the pickleball queue going. It's a
Right.
good time. So we are, and we're starting to do some merchandise sponsorships for some athletes as well. Just kind of
Okay.
like seeding, getting the gear into people's hands, some of the content
Hmm.
creators' hands, so that they can, give us some honest feedback as they're playing in it
Sure.
as well.
Sure. And there's I'm beginning to see a lot more summer camps coming out, a lot more of colleges fielding their own pickleball teams.
Hmm.
Mostly on intramural, but some of them are doing it, I think, collegiate, uh, club sports,
Hmm.
because they're not official sports in a lot of places yet. But that's the trend, right? It starts as a club sport, then becomes all of a sudden an official school sport. Um, just it's an interesting growth uh, industry that's just going to
Really
continue
is.
doing. Yeah.
And
Where,
speaking of universities, so like we've
yeah.
actually had a couple of universities reach out to us and just say, "Hey, would you be willing to whether it's sponsor or just donate some
Hmm.
gift cards for the winners?" So we've done that to like particularly University of Georgia,
Hmm.
University of Michigan, Rhode
Really?
Island.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, and these kids are playing at a high level of
Yeah.
pickleball, and
Yeah.
it's really growing in the university realm for sure.
Cool. I mean, I think we talked before we started the podcast that you all also will do, like, if there's a league or a team or an organization that wants some branding as well, or some special work done on
Yeah,
apparel, that you would do that.
yeah. We work, especially particularly for some of these pro shops that our sales reps are selling into. They want their
Okay.
logos embroidered onto the gear. We'll do that. If there's teams that want their team logos embroidered onto the gear, we'll do that, and we can work with them.
Okay.
Pretty flexible with what we'll do with our gear.
Cool. We've been speaking with Dan Lawson, Good Get Apparel. It's a fantastic company, good lead, team of people there working it. Young company. So we found out quite a bit about how they look at quality and the production of their products here. If you want to find out more about Good Get Apparel, is it goodgetapparel.com?
It is, yeah, goodgetapparel.com, and then on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Good Get Apparel. So definitely check us out, follow us on there.
Excellent. Anything we've left out, Dan, that you want to share?
No, I think we covered it all. Thanks for your time, Rico.
Yeah, hang in there with me. But everyone, thank you for joining us. Check out AtlantaPickleballMagazine.com and give us comments. You'll see some links in the show notes on this show where you can find, in case you forget, where you can find Good Get Apparel. And if you have questions for Dan, reach out to them. There's contact information there as well. Thank you.